Jelly Roll has a ton of tattoos, and they have a variety of surprising meanings. But is it true that he regrets most of them?
What happened to my face?
One of Jelly Roll's most meaningful tattoos is the large cross underneath his right eye.
It was symbolic of a change in me. It was symbolic of a kind of a new beginning, understanding that I need to bear my own cross.
It also suits him because his life story is one of redemption, which is something else a cross can represent. He told Grammy.com, "Outside of religion, the idea of being able to be redeemed is just a great idea. The idea that who we were is not who we are is so powerful." Jelly Roll's wife, Bunnie Xo, has a matching cross tattoo. The couple filmed a vlog documenting their visit to the New Orleans tattoo parlor where they got their ink in 2018. Jelly Roll tried to convince Bunnie to have her cross etched below her eye as well, but she refused. Instead, she opted to get her ribcage inked. The words Music Man inscribed on Jelly Roll's forehead also have ties to Bunnie, being that she has a Married a Music Man tattoo on her leg, which is a line from an Elton John song. Jelly Roll admitted in an interview with Inked that he and his brother both became fascinated with tattoos before they were old enough to legally get them, deeming it a quote, white trash cultural thing. The siblings lived in Antioch, Tennessee, which apparently had a lot of amateur tattooers among its population. They used young party-goers as willing canvases to practice their art on, so it wasn't too difficult for unsupervised minors to get inked if they didn't care about the quality of the finished product. After falling in love with his brother's Tupac-inspired cross tattoo, Jelly Roll decided to get a cross tattoo of his own when he was still a teen. It's located on his right shoulder and includes the words R.I.P. Momma V. He explained that it was a tribute to a woman who was a mother figure to the children in his neighborhood until she tragically died of AIDS. His actual mother, who gave Jelly Roll his unique stage name, struggled with substance abuse and had mental health issues.
She never left that room, man. She never left that room, and if she did, she'd come down to the kitchen. That was a big day, man.
The singer told Billboard he felt like he had to become her caretaker at age 13 after his parents split up, so it's easy to see why someone who took care of him became such a cherished figure. Jelly Roll was 14 years old when he entered the penal system. Drug and theft charges led to multiple stints in prison, where he became intimately acquainted with the resident resourceful tattooers. On Burtcast, Jelly Roll said that some inmates fashioned makeshift tattoo guns out of cassette or CD player parts and guitar strings. As inventive as they were, he only trusted them to give him some small face tats at first, such as the teardrop beside his right eye. On the Bobby Bones Show, he said the blue tear doesn't have the fabled connection to murder, where a teardrop that isn't filled in means you attempted to kill someone and failed, while one that is filled in means you were successful. Turns out, his tat is much more innocent.
Mine are for the tears we never forget we shed.
Jelly Roll called the other tear tattoo that begins as a long slash mark over his left eye the clown. In a 2021 Facebook post, he explained why he's drawn to depictions of sad clowns, writing, "I've always been fascinated by sad clowns. When I was a child, my father had paintings hung up everywhere. I always felt like they represented the sad souls that do all they can to entertain and make people happy." When Jelly Roll and Bunnie Xo started getting couple tattoos, he wasn't yet a multi-platinum artist with 2 Grammy nominations. In their 2018 tattoo vlog, Bunnie revealed that they have matching to die for tattoos beside one ear, and their first initials beside the other. When the couple got their matching cross tattoos, Jelly Roll also had Bunnie sign one of the few empty spaces on his right wrist, and he had the signature inked in immediately afterward. It's located right next to the large rose tattoo on the back of his hand, which is almost identical to the one Bunnie has in the same spot. However, Jelly Roll's blossom has a tiny bunny with fluttery eyelashes and a bow on one ear hiding among its petals. The lovebirds got the pieces done by tattoo artist Big Mike in 2017. Jelly Roll added one more tribute to his wife on his crowded right arm in 2019. Bunnie shared a TikTok showing off her rabbit-eared logo overlapping some other artwork. Jelly Roll has a lot of pride in his Nashville roots. He told the Tennessean in 2022, "I love Nashville because it molded me. It is, after all, where he grew up and where he was able to successfully develop his signature blend of genres. But when he got the city's iconic AT&T building tattooed on the right side of his neck, it wasn't just a tribute to the country music capital of the world. He also needed something large enough to cover up an embarrassing error that he had to live with for years." As he explained to Good Morning America, he once tried to get the words "surviving the struggle" inked on that same spot, but his tattooer didn't bother using spell check for the simple phrase and forgot the T in struggle.
And then we put this little bitty baby T in it that looked super off and awkward.
You might say that the struggle is real when it comes to making tattoos gone wrong look alright. Jelly Roll told GQ that many of his more recent tattoos are cover-ups, being that he regrets a great many of them.
I regret 98% of these tattoos, 97%, almost all of them.
One example is the ornate, heart-shaped locket on his face. It now hides the Bible verse John 15:13, which reads, "Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends." Another example is his collar tattoo, which he covered up in 2018. It used to read Penelope, which was the name of one of his exes. He explained to Vice that he got the tattoo at age 17 and that it was quite painful. In a tweet, Jelly Roll admitted that it took him 2 years to fulfill his promise to Bunnie to conceal the offending name. He also shared before and after photos showing that it had been replaced by a bleeding heart pierced with a dagger. Then there's the rose on his right hand, which was inked by Big Mike in order to hide the number 74 and a cross. The number had some YouTubers questioning whether Jelly Roll had joined the Gangster Disciples gang at some point. Supposedly, the gang uses the number as a code for its initials, GD, being that G and D are the 7th and 4th letters of the alphabet. Jelly Roll hasn't covered up all of the tattoos he hates, and some of them are pretty random. One of these depicts a baby doing something a bit unexpected.
Maybe the baby smoking the blunt was a little excessive. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that was a little bit much.
Jelly Roll mentioned that particular work of art again in an interview for Odyssey Check-In, revealing that the toking tot is supposed to be the Gerber baby. He said, "I don't know who authorized this in my life or who was around me at this moment." In his interview with GQ, he said that some of his seemingly random tattoos are pieces he got while on tour. From the sounds of it, he and the members of his crew get tattoos as a bonding experience and to commemorate each tour. He then explained that he's fond of group tattoos in general, and even said that he'd be down to get one with the GQ camera crew.
We're all in this room right now like, we're gonna get a camera tattooed on us. I'm in. We're doing it as a tribal moment, me and a bunch of camera dudes. Y'all call me, I'm down, I'm a homie.
He also had an explanation for why some of the ink seemingly has no connection to his music, such as the orange juice bottle on his right arm. He told Inked, "Everybody got drunk and was like, we should all get orange juice bottles on us. And then everybody goes and gets an orange juice bottle on them because we tripped acid." But that was the theme. Jelly Roll's kids mean a lot to him, so he obviously had to make sure that their names were prominently displayed. His daughter Bailey was born when he was in prison. This, coupled with the fact that the guard who broke the news to him couldn't tell him his daughter's name at the time, inspired him to get his act together. He told the Tennessean, "I was like, I want to be a good father. That was the moment for me." Now, her name is tattooed in large letters above the singer's right ear. It's not a piece fans see as often because his hair covers it up when he doesn't have the sides of his head shaved. Meanwhile, the name of his rarely seen son, Noah, is etched above his right eyebrow. In 2021, Bunnie Xo shared a TikTok of Jelly Roll showing off his freshly inked line tattoo of a quokka on his left wrist. He said,
Quokka gang. Don't worry, be happy. The happiest animal on the planet, baby. Fight against depression.
The singer told GQ the Quokka design was a group tat that he and around 10 of his friends got while intoxicated in Florida, and went on to explain why he's so fond of the adorable Australian marsupial.
This is the happiest animal on the planet. It's native to one island. It has no predators there.
However, his misguided belief that the quokka is so cheerful because it gets high from eating nothing but eucalyptus leaves is inaccurate. Its diet is more varied. Jelly Roll apparently confused the cute critter with the koala, which, it should be noted, also doesn't get stoned from munching on its favorite plant. This is just an urban legend about the lethargic animal. Come on, Jelly Roll. Still, the quokka does look pretty content, and that's what really matters to the singer.
When life starts throwing me curveballs, I look down at my little quokka and I go, be a quokka.
During his interview with GQ, Jelly Roll said that while some inmates who do tattoo work during their incarcerations are talented artists, they don't do it for free. Those who aren't so talented are the ones who don't charge a fee, which is how Jelly Roll ended up with many of the tattoos that he regrets.
I even had to get the cheap tattoo artist when I was in jail. Couldn't even afford them then. When they were 2 packs of cigarettes, I only had a can of coffee.
However, one of Jelly Roll's prison tattoos was an ambitious undertaking. The artist he employed used the stick and poke method to create a depiction of Jesus' crucifixion on his back. The tattooing style involves poking a single needle dipped in ink into the skin by hand, and it takes a great deal longer to complete pieces this way than it does with a tattoo gun. He told Inked, "It was brutal, and I just couldn't take it, and I gave up on it really fast." However, the tattoo artist completed enough of the piece for Bunnie Xo to mistake Jesus for Elvis Presley when she first saw it. Other people rarely see the tattoo because Jelly Roll doesn't go shirtless often. In a 2016 Facebook post, Jelly Roll revealed that he had covered a teardrop tattoo on the left side of his face with a tiny apple core. This is apparently a reference to the Jelly Roll disciples who have adopted the fandom name the Bad Apples. The lore is that they decided his song Bad Apple perfectly embodies who he is, an apple that has retained its sweetness despite having a few bruises. Knowing the words to the 2014 track is also indicative of being a fan who supported Jelly Roll well before he took the world of country music by storm. While an apple core could be seen as the end of something good, this is not how Jelly Roll views his tattoo. He informed his Facebook followers that he was ready to take a big bite out of life, writing, "I assure y'all the scumbag you see today is a way better version of myself than when I was still playing hide-and-go-seek with the police. This tattoo symbolizes the dawn of a new era." When Jelly Roll shared a throwback photo of his The Hate Goes On tattoo on Facebook in 2015, he still had ample real estate on his right arm. The only other visible tattoo read, "Shed blood before tears." Jelly Roll dropped his mixtape The Hate Goes On in 2009 and apparently found the title so nice that he decided to use it twice. He released a song with the same name in 2017. It's about shrugging off his haters as they refuse to recognize his talent. Jelly Roll filmed the track's music video in Antioch, so it's fitting that there's a street sign tribute to the Nashville neighborhood right beside the song's title on his arm. Of his former approach to getting tattooed, Jelly Roll told Inked, "My tattoo plan was sticky note style. This resulted in a lot of tattoos that he'd rather not share the stories behind, so their meanings may forever remain a mystery." He said, "Most of them, in hindsight, in that period of my life, weren't great ones because I was making horrible decisions every day outside of just tattoos. Unfortunately, he was running out of space by the time he started making better body art decisions."